I'm living my best snug life.
Right through my clothes. What did you say? Ugh, disgusting. Hey, you're the one who's disgusting. Simmer down, Coca.
Hello friends, welcome to day 2 of the reading rush. I have a couple of clips from last night, and as you saw, I did read some more in A Heart of Blood and Ashes. I've read about another 100 pages in it since we last talked. The angst factor is like peak devastation for me in this one, and the sexual relationship between the two of them is moving at a realistic pace for me. And I'm living for it. I'm thriving on it. It is so good. I really love Yevon and Maddock as characters. I feel like they both bring something different to the table, which is what makes their partnership so good and so, like, just amazing. So I understand even more so now why this book is so loved in the romance community. Because, man, I'm going to have to find more Millavane series to try out because this is fantastic. And I could definitely live in a realm where this is what I'm going to be reading. So far so good. So I'm now about 320 pages into it, and this is a little over 500 pages. So I've got about 200 pages left in this one. So let's talk reading goals for today. So first up, I want to do the buddy read pages for A Blade So Black. We'll be about 100 pages in by the end of it. The writing actually is fairly simple in this book, and so the reading the pages goes pretty quickly. So I want to get that done first. And then I would love to finish The Reckless Bride today. And if I've got enough time, finish this one. Because I am without my car. The car is still at the mechanic. We won't get it back till midday today or this evening. So I could be without my car the entire day. There are a couple things I needed to go out and do, but they can wait until tomorrow when I go to work. Because tomorrow's a work day. For those of you who don't know, I'm a cosmetologist, so I'm totally working on... I basically pay per day that I work at my salon. And I only work a couple of Saturdays a month, and then I always work on Wednesdays. So I will be working tomorrow, and so I want to get this done so that tomorrow I can just focus on something new, as well as the one volume of manga that I wanted to get read outside of the house, because I'm just going to read it at work, because that is outside of my house. So I will be inside, I will be safe, and all those kinds of things. But yeah, I'm going to read it at work. So yeah, let's get into getting these two things taken care of so I can get back to this, because this is thoroughly enjoyable. Another day in which reading is going really well so far. So I did read another about 50 pages in A Blade So Black. So far, I'm really enjoying this. Again, the writing is simple and easy to dive into. And I would say this is written for like 14, 15-year-olds so far. Nothing overly hard to read I've come across yet. I mean, the monsters can be a little much, but, you know, nothing too bad. And like I say, the writing is simple and easy to get into. So I think This is enjoyable for a lot of ages. It's not just older YA, like a lot of YA titles out there now. So I appreciate it definitely for that. I mean, I could always do with more detail and more in-depth things, but considering the young adult audience that this is a great, universally easy to read book, which I think is a smart idea on the author's part, at least for this first book, to kind of get them in, and then you can always beef it up a little bit more as the series goes on. But again, really enjoying it. Met Tweedledee and Tweedledum and some other characters, and it's coming together nicely and in a modern way, and I'm just having a good time with it. It's not the best thing I've ever read, but man, it's fun. And as you guys saw, I just finished The Reckless Bride by Stephanie Lawrence. I'm going to settle on a 3.5 stars for this one. Definitely not a new favorite. And I do need to look further into Stephanie Lawrence's writing before I jump into another one of their books, just because I want to go in more prepared so that I don't run into the murky consent issue again if I can avoid it, especially considering this was written in 2010. Should have definitely happened long before then. That should not have been murky is all I'm going to say. But overall, the conclusion to the story was fun and still exciting. I loved the characters that we started to meet further on in the story. It was just a really good time. And yeah, it was just, like I say, I have nothing to say other than it was fun. It definitely wasn't perfect. My biggest issue was the murky consent, but it was a big issue for me. Like I said, if it had been written earlier than... I didn't mean to make you fly, I'm sorry. If it had been written earlier than 2005, I probably could have forgiven it a little bit more for the murky consent thing. But by that point, by 2010, like, consent should have been much clearer than it was. Thankfully, when it wasn't the dream type stuff, the consent was crystal clear, and that I can get behind. But yeah, that murky consent thing should not have been part of the plot at all. It should not have been part of the story. So that's my personal opinion. So that makes 2 books complete for the reading rush, and I'm really happy with the progress I'm making so far. But that does, because it's only a little after 11 a.m., like I say, my reading is going spectacularly so far. It leaves me time to get into this. I would love to finish this today. I don't know how I would end up tying it into the Reading Rush challenges, but man, I'm going to read the heck out of it anyway because it's so good. It's so fun. The 100 pages last night were really like angsty and slow burny, and for whatever reason I need that. My heart is thriving on that right now. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and keep going in this. So from here, it's getting close to when I would normally order my lunch. I tend to be an early lunch, not a late lunch eater, so I'm probably gonna order food, read for a bit, take a break, watch some TV, because I've done about 240 pages worth of reading so far today. And if I were to finish this one today, it would be another 220 pages, which is totally doable considering how much day I have left and considering how much I'm enjoying the book. When I'm enjoying it, it's easy for me to stay in it and read quickly and not get too distracted by like YouTube videos or anything like that. Though I have watched a couple of the day 1 vlogs so far this morning. So I could have been done even earlier, but I paused to watch and support friends because that's what I do. But yeah, so I'm going to read for a while. I will check back in when I have more to say. I don't know if there's something in the mail today. This might be a pretty boring vlog compared to yesterday's, but it's okay. That's what happens with daily vlogs sometimes. The other manga order came. So let's go ahead and get into this box. This box is bigger than the one yesterday. It's a lot wider and a lot longer. So I think there's more in this box than there was in yesterday's box. But again, trying to avoid showing off my address to y'all. Not that I don't like you, but I like my privacy on online spaces so much. This box was pretty hammered, but thankfully I know Right Stuff like does a really good job of padding their stuff they send. So yeah. Oh, I'm so excited. It's such a big box. Okay, so obviously, as I mentioned in yesterday's vlog, if you haven't watched it, it's linked up in the cards, is I have a bunch more Haikyuu volumes coming. So I'm going to pull all those out, and then we'll get into the other things in the box. Ooh, I love it. Okay, let's get these in order. Alrighty, Haikyuu Volume 8, Volume 9, Volume 11, Volume 12, Volume 13, Daichi, my king, I love him. Tsukishima, I love me some Suki, on Volume 19, Volume 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, and 38, which does complete my Haikyuu collection. Now, to the other things in the box. I have Volume 2, Volume 3, Volume 4, and Volume 5 of Welcome to the Ballroom. This is a ballroom dancing series primarily from a male perspective. I have read the first volume and I really enjoyed it. It's just taken me forever to continue to collect it. I know Volume 10 is coming out soon, so I thought I'd get a few more, get those read, and then do another order to get me caught up. So I'm closer to when 10 releases for that. And then just a one-off, I finally got the final omnibus of Maid-sama. Now that I own this, what I plan to do is reread the entire series and then read the last 2 omnibuses for the first time in a reaction vlog so that you all can see how I feel about Maid-sama by the end, because it does not end where the anime ends. Volume 17 of Haikyuu. I felt like one was missing in there, and we figured out which one. Yay, go us! So, last but not least, I finally finished collecting My Little Monster. I still need to read the latter half. So I have Volume 7, Volume 8, Volume 9, Volume 10, Volume 11, Volume 12, and the final Volume 13, which is actually pretty beefy for a standard shoujo. It says includes over 60 pages of extras after the story. No wonder it's so beefy. But yes, I do plan on completing My Little Monster here soon. So, friends, that is my huge Right Stuff order that I placed not too long ago. Between this stuff and the order from yesterday, I spent about $300. It was a lot, but it was like, we finally got our tax return back. I had a certain amount of money I could spend, and I decided to catch up on some series that I loved and that I've just been neglecting and continuing to put on the back burner. By doing this, this will free me up to purchase some other series and get caught up on those as well, so that I can start collecting new ones that are maybe backlist. So that is it for the haul portion. Let's get back to reading. I have my car back. So let's mask up and go book shopping. Okay, so my first stop was Pioneer Books. It's in Provo, Utah. It's a good half hour from where I live. But they had a fairly decent manga section for a used bookstore, and I found the first 3 volumes of Honey Hunt. I think they had the first 6 technically, but I thought I would get the first 3, use them in a try 3 video coming up soon, and see how I feel about the series and let you guys know, because it is an older title. I know I think basically most stores don't stock it anymore, but you can still get it online. Last I knew, at least. So I'm gonna try them out, see how it goes, on to the next place. Okay, so I went to my local comic shop. It's called Dragon's Keep, and they had a couple volumes of manga that I wanted to pick up. So I've got Assassination Classroom Volume 15, and then the next 2 Bizbigs for Inuyasha, because I'm very much having just an Inuyasha moment in my life, and we could all use some more Inuyasha, in my opinion. And we're getting a sequel, and I'm excited, and if we have adult shippo, I'm rioting. Anyhow, I'm gonna head home. We'll wrap up today's vlog, And yes, and I did finish the other book, so we'll talk. All right, so let's quickly wrap up everything that I got around to reading today. So I read another 50-ish pages in A Blade So Black, still enjoying it. Been enjoying it as a buddy read with Lindsay. We're loving the characters. The writing is very simple and easy to get into, so it's kind of an all ages, teen and up kind of story. And it's dealing with some bigger topics, which I'm really enjoying. So far so good. Really enjoying that. I finished The Reckless Bride by Stephanie Lawrence. I'm landing on a 3.5 star with this one. There were enough problems that I really can't give it anything higher than that. The character dynamics I really loved, but there was just some problematic things that, for the date in which this was written, they should not have been as present as they were. So there's that. Obviously, you guys already know my thoughts. And then I did finish A Heart of Blood and Ashes by Milla Vane. This is the first book in the Gathering of Dragons series. I do have the second book, but I will be waiting till after this readathon to continue. But this was a solid, fantastic fantasy romance. I really, again, loved the dynamic between our two leads. We have a very stubborn leader of one kingdom and the hidden princess of another, basically uniting to take down her father because he is a tyrant and awful and has way more power than he should, and he is not the rightful person to be on the throne. It should have been her mother, and all sorts of things. But anyways, this is very much a traveling hero's journey romance together kind of thing, and I was all for it. It was really well done. Yes, it is on the longer side for romance. It's a little over 500 pages, but it did not feel overly long. I felt like you needed that much time to get to know the characters and the world, and it was really well paced. I know the next book in the series I don't think is quite as long, so that should be beneficial in that way because you don't have to establish nearly as much of the world. So yes, I am genuinely excited to continue. I'm giving this a solid 4 stars. There is a word that popped up within the sex scenes that I just can't. It's a certain word used for a woman's vagina that I just find the least sexy word, and it popped up in the sex scenes in this one, so I can't give it a higher rating despite how much I loved it in spite of that, because it's such an unsexy word. When you're reading a sex scene, it just pulls me out. And so that was the only disappointment in this novel. Other than that, it was really fantastic. So a lot of people won't agree with me on that one, and that's fine. But this is definitely a solid fantasy romance. If you like fantasy romance, definitely check this one out. So that is it for today's reading. On my Instagram, I have a poll up currently to figure out what I'll be reading next, and you'll have to check out the next vlog to figure out what that is. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys are enjoying daily vlogs. Let me know down below what you did today, what you ate today. Tell me something about today, Tuesday, and tell me something good. I want to hear the good things. Okay, bye.